everyone. Thanks so much for coming to the HubSpot Video Marketing Study Group Office Hours. Let's get this show on the road. All right. So, for all of you that are here, let us know in the chat who you are, where you're coming from, location, company, the whole nine yards. But main thing is, are you video marketing certified? We're always curious to hear from the group who is, who isn't. Get a good perspective on who we're talking to today. If you have never been to an office hours, my name's Aaron Oberdick. I'm the video marketing manager at Nextiny Marketing. I'll let Corey do
And
this.
yeah, I am Corey Christian. I am a multimedia marketer here at Nextiny. So I help Aaron with all things video and just kind of wherever else I can lend my hand.
Yeah, I think this is I used to count our iterations on these office hours, but I lost count after 20-ish or so. So, if you've been to an office hours before, we appreciate you showing up again. As a reminder, we do this on a monthly basis. So it's basically just a little session talking about what's new, trending topics, things like that, and as well as a Q&A. So if you guys have any questions, you can just let us know in the chat. And of course, we'll answer and conduct those at the end. Just a quick reminder, if you guys again, if this is your first time here, you probably have not heard of the HubSpot Video Marketing Study Group. Basically, this is an opportunity to join a group of people who are just discussing anything video related in the marketing world. So if you have questions, this is a great place to go ask them. We have a number of HubSpot certified trainers that are poking around there answering questions. Corey and I are also in there once in a while answering questions. So feel free to drop any question you may have. If it's beyond, office hours times and you just have a random question, whatever it may be, hop over to the study group, ask over there, and we'll be sure to get you an answer. All right. So, what is the agenda today? What we're going to be covering? Mainly, we're going to go over some bootcamp updates and as well as a review. We just concluded day 2 of our summer video bootcamp. So, exciting stuff. We'll talk about what we discussed in that, and then we will discuss as well our video engagement bootcamp. So, kind of the next steps. We also have a new product launch, so we'll talk just quickly about a drone, and then we'll go into our Q&A. All right, so bootcamp updates. What exactly happens? And you may be saying to yourself, well, hold on, Aaron, what is bootcamp, right? So, video marketing bootcamp through HubSpot is basically a course designed to get you started recording video and getting you comfortable on video, right? So, we go through a pretty in depth, you know, content in terms of getting them from understanding why video needs to be happening all the way to creating video, recording video, editing video, and then analyzing all of our metrics. So it's a pretty extensive program. If you're interested, I'm sure Corey has a link where you could probably register for the next ones there. But basically, we went and we just finished our summer boot camp. It was a really good course because we made some pretty big changes to this one. In the previous past, for the last 2 years, we've been conducting these boot camps in a 6 week format. So, 1 hour every Wednesday for 6 straight weeks. We do some homework and we learn. We just changed the format to a 2 day format. So, we went from committing for 6 full weeks down to 1 week, and it's just a Tuesday 2 hour session and a Thursday 2 hour session. So, it's a lot more streamlined in that sense. And we're able to talk a lot more in one kind of sitting, as well as go over a lot more content. Also, on top of that, by Thursday, you should be able to retain all the information from the previous session. That's where we saw some fall off, right? Like by week 4, week 5, we really saw a lot of fall off, and people were not really retaining the info from weeks 1 and 2. So we wanted to kind of streamline it and just squeeze everything together. And we just concluded our summer boot camp, like I mentioned, and it was a great success. We had a lot of fun doing it, and we were able to get a lot more information again retained by all the students, and they walked away with kind of the knowledge of how to record video and being comfortable on camera. So if this sounds interesting to you, we'll go ahead and put in the chat the registration for that. You can go ahead and sign up for the next boot camp, and we will notify you when it's going to start and the whole 9 yards there. All right, Corey, anything to add with the basic boot camp, the changes or anything before I jump into the next slide?
No, I mean, I think we did get quite a lot of good feedback. I mean, like Aaron said, it is much easier to commit to 2 hour sessions, right? But also, I think it just kind of gave people a little bit more time to kind of dive into the info and get, allowed us to expand on some of the topics a little bit more. So I think the overall content was honed in that process. And I think it's really a valuable course. So anyone that has not only, started their journey into video, but also just kind of getting started with marketing in general, there's a lot of really good kind of content in there for all levels, and we tailor it based on who's there as well. So it,
Yeah.
it, it really is a very valuable course.
Yeah, that's a really good point. We used to be so constrained with time over those 6 weeks that we unfortunately wouldn't get around to kind of creating, curating the later stages of the presentations to what people wanted to learn, right? But with this session, with a little bit of smaller group and the lengthier sessions, we were able to digest what people really wanted to learn and then kind of curate the rest of the content to what they wanted. So, a really great experience. And again, if you're really to just looking to lift video off for your brand, for your agency, whatever it is, definitely sign up for the next boot camp because you will find that there's tons of great information to retain and take away after the entire class. So definitely register there. And I'm going to go ahead and jump into the next slide here. We're going to be talking about not story brand boot camp. It is Corey. I'm sorry. I'm going to ask you one more time.
Our video engagement boot camp.
Video engagement boot camp. So we do follow the story brand concept. But it is a little bit more in depth of a boot camp than the basic boot camp that we just discussed. So basically, this is a continuation where you'll find yourself learning more on a one-to-one derivative. Corey and I will work with you on whether it's a client video, whether it's your internal homepage video, whatever it may be, on the entire strategy and really dive in why you're doing what you're doing and how we can basically optimize it as much as possible. That way, you're going to record the best possible video, edit the best possible video, and have the best possible results. We go over a lot of detail on production, editing, and analysis in videos. So if this all sounds interesting to you, we would recommend signing up and registering for this boot camp. I do want to preface that also there is a cost to this. So, this is not a free boot camp, but you can sign up for free today. And then if that sounds engaging, or if there's any reason you need to drop out, you don't need to pay today. So, just wanted to let you guys know about that boot camp. All right. So shifting from boot camp over to new product launch, and we do have one product that we saw come out this week, and that is the DJI Air 3. Now you might be looking at that and going, hey, that's a drone. Well, we talk about drones a lot on office hours because DJI is always coming out with new drones, right? um, there's new camera releases, there's new audio gear releases, and that's all fun and exciting, but drones just gives you that entirely new perspective of video. It unlocks an entirely new just concept in what you can record and add to your videos for an entirely new dynamic perspective. So we encourage people to try to utilize drones. At Nextiny, we're certified pilots, so we're able to operate our unmanned aerial aircrafts and get some really cool shots for our clients. So the DJI Air 3 was released this week. It's their brand new iteration. I kind of explain DJI products like iPhones. They come out basically every year with just minuscule upgrades. This guy, you have a 1/1/3 CMOS sensor, pretty standard in a lot of cameras today. But the cool thing is that you have two cameras associated with this guy. So you have a wide angle if you're trying to capture a lot more detail of an area. You also have a telephoto lens that does push in quite significantly. So you can kind of zoom in and get kind of a narrow field of view from a drone, which is really unique. So that's a really cool feature. This is my favorite of the entire thing, 46 minutes of flight time. Um, these are increasing all the time, albeit slowly, right? We go from, I want to say, when Corey and I were living in New York, what, 10 years ago, it feels like now. We were testing out the early days of drones and we were getting like 8, 9 minutes of a flight. So, and
Yes,
we
yeah.
were geeking out. We were just putting it in the air and then bringing it back down. It was like the coolest thing in the world. we're all the way up to like, 45 minutes, 46 minutes. That's crazy. So the technology is definitely improving. Also has omnidirectional obstacle sensing. So this is really cool, right? Because if you're flying towards an object, it will stop itself before actually pushing into it. So another benefit or just safety feature there. Also, the DJI 20-kilometer HD video transmission. So hypothetically, you could put this drone 20 kilometers away from you without losing a connection. I definitely have my doubts. That's from directly from their statistics sheet. That's going to be in the most optimal scenario in the entire. That's like if you're out in the desert in flat land and there's no signals around, right? Realistically, you're looking at half that, less than half of that. But that being said, who needs to fly their drone even 10 kilometers away from themselves, right? So I do want to remind everyone the FAA regulation is line of sight. So if you can't see your drone, you're probably a little too far, anyways. And then we talked about the camera a little bit, but there you can take up to 48 megapixel photos, which is huge, right? You can blow those babies up, print them out real big. And of course, the dual camera. It does 4K up to 60 frames a second with HDR video. So a lot of cool features with this guy. I mean, at a retail price of about $1,000, you can't really go wrong in today's society for a drone like that. So definitely, if you're interested in drones, check out the Air 3. All right, and that wraps up the office hours for today. We're into Q&A, so if there's any questions, now would be the time to ask them. If not, Corey and I'll just hang out for you for a minute and wait for any to come in. So, Corey, you have any comments or anything about what the Air 3 or anything pertaining to this?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really cool. The dual camera is such a better solution. It's crazy that it's easier to just put two cameras on it, right? Because the old digital zoom function that some of them had just it wouldn't look good when you zoomed in
Yeah,
on things. You could see that loss of quality. So by having an actual dedicated lens, like it's going to be sharp, it's going to be clean, it's going to look good, which is that's really awesome. I like the fact that they managed to get it so small and be able to still get a 46-minute flight time. Like
yeah.
that's awesome. And the 20-kilometer range, of course you're not going to fly 20 kilometers, but it just means it's really strong, right? So even if you are, only flying it a few 100 meters, at least you have that additional kind of power to get through some trees or some objects, or it just kind of helps keep that video signal there for you, which is nice.
Yeah, that's a great point. I've had plenty of personal experiences of losing satellite connection and losing an image, and then just thinking, I really hope this thing comes back to me. So,
Yeah,
I
you just have to remember how to fly backwards. So if you made it forwards, just try and fly back and hope that that picture starts coming back.
right on. All right. Well, I don't see any questions coming through. People are dropping out, so we'll go ahead and wrap this thing up. But I want to go ahead and say thank you to everyone who attended office hours today. We always appreciate that, and make sure you register for the next one. And we'll see you in August.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.